Do not adjust your radio dial. You are tuned in to the Mark Order Podcast. Join the Mark Order.
It's Ryan's birthday. You know what that means. We're hanging out here at the Mark Order Podcast, talking to, oh my goodness, look how beautiful Joe looks with that happy birthday crown. Slaying over
Why does
there.
he have the crown?
I'm celebrating you, man.
It's a celebratory
But
thing.
isn't the crown for the birthday boy?
You should have like a proper tiara is the thing. Like Joe and I should both have what he has, and you should have like a proper big boy king birthday crown. But it is the Mark Order Podcast for Ryan's birthday, March 5th. So we've got a lot of so much to talk about here on the Mark Order Podcast. We've got AEW Revolution coming up this weekend with a fantastic card. The show was pretty good, kind of go-homey, but Ryan's going to hang out with us for the beginning, but then he has family that cares about him or something that he made up. I don't know. But
I missed Dynamite because the family came over, so I've seen nothing.
You don't want to do... You don't want to stick around to guess wrestling?
No, that bit is for when you run from the grind.
That's fair, but you guessing wrestling, I feel like, is when you've missed the show. I really just the artwork that Joe did just made me want to run that.
No, I appreciate using it, but no, I'm saving that for the inevitable. You run from the grind, and for some reason I miss it and need to guess wrestling.
Well, that's fair. That's fair. Well, I remembered that was there because I was in our video uploads assets folder before, because we have some very special messages from some people who wanted to wish you a happy birthday, Ryan.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Ryan, it's your birthday, man. And I figured in true wrestling form, I would cut a promo in a car, And I was going to, send some happy birthday wishes to you. But I've been sitting here thinking about it, though, man. And, you sent me cold spray out of the kindness of your heart, and all that did was hurt. That shit hurt, man. That was pain. You're a nice guy. One time you sent me all those Reese's, the big pounders, the candy, big pounds of Reese's. Well, all that did was I fucking overdosed on peanut butter and about died of whatever they call that. So it's like... Are you trying to kill me? So, how much happy birthday love should I really send you? But you know what? I'm going to be the bigger man. And I'm just going to tell you happy birthday, buddy. Happy birthday. Love you. Keep doing the things, man. Make it all happen. Just don't kill me.
He's not the only
diabetes.
one that wanted to wish you a happy birthday. He's not even the only person that you sent candy to that wanted to wish you a happy birthday.
Ryan, I am contractually obligated to say happy birthday to you. Also, where's my candy? Why haven't you sent me candy? I'm waiting for the candy. Happy birthday, where's the candy? Your birthday is important and I really appreciate you, but where's the candy? Once again, contractually obligated, but where's the candy? Happy birthday. No, where's candy? Where's candy, Ryan? Happy birthday. I appreciate you.
I sent Joel a pound of Reese's, so I don't know what he's talking about.
I mean, I guess it's not enough, but this next person just told me he was coming in with big Mr. Smithers energy. I don't even...
What up, Schlong? It's your boy, That Guy, wishing you a very happy birthday. I know you don't get what you want every year, me popping out of a birthday cake, but I can wish you a happy birthday, Mr. Schlong. Oh.
Wow, you're pulling from people who don't even watch wrestling now.
Oh, I went deep in the well, my friends. Here's someone that watches wrestling but is smart enough not to podcast about it.
All right, Jack, let's see. Holidays that fall on March 5th. We have Ash Wednesday this year, National Absinthe Day, Equal Pay Day, National Cheese Doodle Day, National Potty Dance Day, Stop Bad Customer Service Day, and, ooh, the most important one, it's Ryan's birthday. Happy birthday, friend.
And finally, somebody who is literally so sick today and responded immediately. And I was like, oh, this will be fun because it'll be so snarky. And they were so nice. And I said, you were so nice, it's making me itchy. And they said, well, Ryan's cool, unlike you.
Ryan, happy birthday. I want you to know how much I appreciate you, that I've gotten out of bed, what could potentially be my deathbed, based on how sick I am, to record this message, because you're one of the best people in this space. You're much appreciated. Thank you for all the candy you always send. Thank you for everything. Thank you for all the support. You rule. Happy birthday, man.
I feel like the fact that sending people candy is your legacy is like my favorite favorite thing about these videos.
They were nicer than anticipated, so I don't know how to respond.
Yeah, it's a little uncomfortable. I didn't
yeah,
like
it's
it.
very.
Maybe it.
But I do like that my legacy is sending everyone and their mother candy.
Yeah.
And I will continue to uphold that legacy. I did not know there was a National Cheese Doodle Day. I am proud that it falls on my birthday.
Those are all real. Elise was
Yeah,
like, it was very important to her that you know that like all of those dates were real. And I know you can't stick around, but there were going to be, I don't know if they can pop on now, but Doc wanted to pop by and the Beards guys wanted to pop by as well. But obviously, if you didn't see the show, you don't have to stick around on your birthday. But we do appreciate you, and I just wanted to get a small smattering of people who.
Like I said, they were nice, and I am shocked. I was expecting mean, and Jeremy sounded sick.
Yeah, he's really sick. He actually, like I'm not a big reality TV gal, but there are a couple, and one of them is Temptation Island. And I got into Temptation Island because it used to be on after SmackDown, and what happened was I got tempted. And Jeremy loves all reality television, so this is like the one thing that we both are into outside of wrestling. And Temptation Island, like the rights deal is more complicated apparently than wrestling. Like this show got shopped around, it got rebooted, and then it got shopped around, and it's been just sitting on the shelf at Netflix forever. And I got a text the other day that just says, Temptation Island's coming back to Netflix on March 14th. So I've been sending him like these countdown messages, and then he's like, sorry, I haven't replied. I've been like with the family and been sick. And I was like, well, fine. But when I reached out to him sincerely, he responded faster about that video than he does to me about anything else. So
Well, that's because you're only messaging him about Temptation Island.
And wrestling. There was one story where I helped him. I had enough information that it allowed him to pre-write it, which is all that he's really ever wanted in life. But we appreciate you. We appreciate you holding down the show while Joe and I are out frequently of late and running our social media and sending all these people candy so that we can have fun messages to play.
I do love that is my legacy.
It's pretty great. It's pretty great. So happy birthday, Ryan. This is so fun because I'm actually logged in because I had to log in to upload all those videos. So the chat saying, happy birthday, my dude. Kate, you should have asked me if you wanted a mean one. I really should have, Jesse. If there's anything just like mean that you want to say in the chat to make everybody feel right at home, because this isn't the way that we want to go. But hi, Jesse Ozog.
I will ban you, Jesse. I will do it. And I don't know how to unban you, so.
It's true. It's true. Do you want to stick around a little bit more? We mostly wanted to wish you a happy birthday and send you a bunch of love.
Yes, I mean, it's only 10 minutes in. I can stick around a little.
Sure. Joe, did you want to say anything nice about Ryan? I don't know why you would, but
I've never gotten candy from Ryan.
You've never asked.
That's a really good point.
I don't feel like I should have to ask.
Well, they put out requests, and I just fulfill them.
Okay.
One of our favorites around here saying, I have no voice, or you would have had a snarky one. That's fair. That is fair.
What do you want, Joe?
kind
Do you
of
want
agree-
Reese's or Nerds Clusters?
Why do you guys pronounce it Reese's? Is it
Because we rule.
is it like an East Coast thing? Is it a Philadelphia thing?
I feel like it's a 50-50 on Reese's versus Reese's. I don't even know if I'm consistent in one way that I pronounce it. Are you a firm Reese's guy?
I am the proper way.
I feel like that is what it is because they say Reese's Pieces. It's not Reese's Pieces.
Oh,
right?
it's Reese's Pieces, if you're going to say it.
But the word is pieces.
Not one that follows Reese's.
No, this is not an I before E situation.
Oh, it,
It's
it
weird.
100% is.
You know what? Just for your birthday today, Pumpkin Patch. It'll be Reese's Pieces.
It's Reese's Pieces.
I feel like Joe is right because he sent Matt Trapper Keeper unprompted. I got my Binghamton Mets hat in a corner that you can't see right now. He sent us a lot of unprompted things. I feel like for his birthday.
Here's the thing about that. One, I would need addresses. So, Joe, if you want to give your address on air, feel free. Two,
Let me look up your address. I have it somewhere.
I do like to know people's candy preferences when I send them so that they get what they want.
Mhm.
Because you don't want to send a Mars bar when the person doesn't like a Mars bar. And I picked the most random candy I could think of.
Question, Ryan. I have a question, Ryan. And you don't have to give out names, but how many pairs of edible underwear have you sent out?
That's an excellent
They
question.
never make it out. I mean, they're edible. Why would I let them go?
That's a visual I didn't need.
No, I mean, so all I know about edible underwear is, do you guys remember that show MTV Undressed?
Oh my God, I do remember MTV Undressed.
So it would be on before I would have to get up for Crew in the morning. Not every morning, but some mornings, because it was like the late night MTV thing. So it was either that show or music videos. And so I'd put it on when I was getting up at like 3 a.m. for Go Row. And there was one where they had it, and all I can remember is them spitting out the edible underwear because it tasted bad. That's all I know about edible underwear.
There you go. There you go. I can't imagine that's probably preserved to proper standards of something that's edible. It's probably not the way to go. Jesse was like, shit, I agree with Ryan. I'm assuming that's on the pronunciation of Reese's Pieces.
It's Reese's Pieces.
It's just
I before E, except after Reese's.
I'm going to trust a guy who can't pronounce the word home correctly. Or
See,
water.
that's where you're on something.
Yeah, but you say pop, probably.
I say soda.
Do you really?
Wow.
I do.
But even if you said pop, you would still pronounce it correctly. It would just be the wrong word, but you would be saying it right. It's terrible
That's
fruit roll-ups. Time out. How do we know this? Do I want to know how we know this? I have so many questions all of a sudden. It's terrible fruit roll-ups. From what I've seen, which is not a lot, I think one stupid bachelorette party gag and probably also MTV Undressed, if we're being realistic. That is what it looked like, which I wouldn't want that near your hoo-ha. That seems terrible.
I mean, that just seems pointless anyway. Is that really what you want to be doing?
It's not great. It's not great. Eric Freed asking, this is a big one because in upstate New York, I heard a lot of people say bagel.
Well, the question is, do I do it the actual answer or do I go with the community quote? There go bagels.
Ugh. Bagels is at least there's justification for because the word bag is in it. Bagels. B-E or like B-E-I-H-H-H-G-E-L-S is awful.
Bagel.
Bagel. B-E-H.
Bagel.
Awful.
So it's bagel.
It's a bagel.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Bagel.
This is unanimously correct. No, see Jesse Ozak's from upstate though. He knows. People say it wrong up there.
It's bagels.
Bagels. Stop it.
What about bagels? Can I have some bagels?
Like Mr. Biggles? Like Mr. Bigglesworth? The Kitty Kat. The Kitty Cats. Guys, leave a thumbs up on this video. We're having fun celebrating Ryan's birthday. We're having people be nice, which when I reached out to them, that made me very uncomfortable, honestly. But we've got a lot to talk about with this Dynamite. A go home episode. Felt go homey, but not bad. And this card for Revolution is absolutely stacked. I'm looking forward to a lot of things on here. Let's talk a little Revolution. It seems like a natural pivot from edible underwear, honestly. Like, I don't know how we get out of that one. But Joe, how are you feeling about this? I feel like right now, there's actually a decent chance that Cope might win the title. I'm sold on this Mariah May, Tony Storm go home angle that we got tonight. I thought it was fantastic. Kenny and Takeshita is bound to be incredible. I think the Hurt Syndicate and the Outrunners probably last about 8 seconds, and that's fine because these cards are so loaded. So I'm not mad about a lot of the stuff that we've got going on. What did you think of where we're building toward with Revolution?
I'm looking forward to it. I think the championship match between Moxley and Cope might be one, like, maybe my 4th or 5th match I'm looking forward to the most.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
I'm looking forward to, like you said, Mariah May and Tony. I'm looking forward to Mercedes and Momo going at it. Takeshita and Kenny. And then, Ospreay and Fletcher. I mean, there's a lot of matches I'm looking forward to ahead of the world title match.
Yeah, I agree. I think that blow off in a cage is going to catch people by surprise because they're like Ospreay's athleticism is so incredible, and Kyle Fletcher is like next up as the next like Kenny or Ospreay. But like I've seen Will Ospreay in a cage match, and he'll do some violent shit. But Ryan, for your birthday, we're celebrating this weekend with Mox versus Cope, Tony versus Mariah, Mercedes versus Momo, the Hurt Syndicate versus the Outrunners, Ricochet versus Swerve in a #1 contenders match, which I think made that more interesting. Takeshita versus Kenny, Fletcher versus Ospreay, MJF versus Hangman, which has been brilliant. And of course, finally, we get to some work rate. Big Boom AJ, Mark Briscoe, and Orange Cassidy versus Johnny TV in the MXM collection. So very upset that the children are not on the card. I know that MXM said that they could beat up 1,000 children. So I know they're a little disappointed by that. But if you go out there and you say AEW is where the best wrestle and you deliver this card, that it's hard to disagree with that. Fletcher Ospreay, MJF Hangman, Ricochet Swerve, Takeshita Kenny, Momo Mercedes, Tony Mariah, Mox Cope. Like, my goodness. I feel like Revolution knows one of their more consistent pay-per-views in history. It just feels like it always hits. What are you thinking about this card, and what are you looking forward to the most?
So I begin with my one complaint is that they have it on a Sunday.
Yeah, when football's not in season, I'm like, what are we doing?
Yeah, I liked the Saturdays. You don't worry that it goes so late and no one complains, but it is what it is. Is Big Justice not going to be accompanying AJ to the ring?
He's not one of the participants. I don't know if we could expect some other.
I think he's gonna get his justice on MXM. They think they could beat up a child, and that child's gonna beat him up. He's gonna drop the boom, give them a little doom. Boom.
Are you guys intimidated by how hard I'm flexing right now?
You're flexing?
It's your I'm logged in. I can do things like this. Now, I will say, so we still have Collision to go, obviously, but this card does have 9 matches on it. I think that's way more reasonable than like 14. And I also feel like everything offers something different, and everything feels like it's been built to pretty well. I'm sure we'll get stuff added on Collision, but I'm guessing that's probably like pre-show stuff, because this is a card, 9 matches, and I'm assuming that Hurt Syndicate versus Outrunners thing goes like 2 minutes tops. I really think the point of that is going to be that the Hurt Syndicate kind of slaughters the Outrunners. Like, other than that, I feel like this is a pretty fair card. I do prefer Saturday pay-per-views as well. Is there anything that you're like, this could have waited, this could be a TV blow-off, anything like that?
So, sadly, I'm going to say it's the Hurt Syndicate versus the Outrunners. I love the Outrunners.
Sure.
But this match has not been built up to be a pay-per-view match. I'm hoping they actually don't make it a squash then. That they allow the Outrunners to actually shock the world, not win, but shock the world in their ability to last. But the rest, I mean, no, I actually like that they're putting Okada versus Brody King on the pay-per-view, because I think it would be a disservice not to. But of all the ones, I could have seen them throwing that off, but it's Okada, so you want them on there.
Sure.
But 9 matches, it's still going to be like a 4-hour pay-per-view.
Yeah, I feel like one thing that WWE does well is like starting. I don't like when they start them at 6. I feel like starting them at 7 so that you're done by like 10:30, 11 o'clock is fair. Like I don't feel like that feels too early, especially on a Sunday. I feel like that's probably good. But I'm also, Ryan and I are Eastern time zone people. Like that might feel weird to be starting a pay-per-view at 4 o'clock when you're in the Pacific. Or Joe, are you kind of like used to that by now? Is that 1 hour not that big of a difference?
Not usually. I mean, being in Central Time Zone, I'm just kind of in the middle, so
Kind of
it's
used
fine.
to it. So as far as the Outrunners and the Hurt Syndicate go, because of like the fact that they beat the Guns and the fact that they beat the Outrunners, or like that they're facing the Outrunners, I wonder if the Hurt Syndicate is like, yeah, we're these badass tweeners, but what we're doing is we're going after everybody's fan favorites until you get to like the Murder Machines or whoever. I also think maybe there's a possibility the Murder Machines take out the Outrunners and we get a different match than that, because that turns them super heel if they took a title shot away from the Outrunners. But do you guys, like, I know Ryan, you said you kind of don't want it to be a squash. You want the Outrunners to get a little bit of shine. Joe, how are you feeling about that? I kind of with like 8 other matches, including like a steel cage match and 4 different title matches and stuff like that. Like I'm all for that being short, because I think it tells the story of the Hurt Syndicate being like, we dominate your fan favorite teams all the time. That's just what we're here to do.
Yeah, I don't think it has to be super long, and the Outrunners at least have gotten some, obviously they got some mainstream attention on ESPN and things like that for their promotional work here in Omaha when they beat up a trash can and all that stuff. So I think it's helped like raise their profile even more to help build this match a little bit. But yeah, I think 4-minute match, 5-minute match is good enough.
Sure.
It's not going to hurt them.
It'll hurt people. You know what I mean?
I want a 25-minute classic. I want
with
rest
these
hold.
guys that wrestle like they're from 1991, just doing.
That's what I'm saying. I want rest holds. I want submissions that are very obviously not painful. I want that kind of match.
Chin locks and atomic drops. Yep.
You know what? We need more atomic drops. I don't know if people use it. That would hurt.
Russian leg sweeps. Yeah.
All day.
Like but if you think about it, get dropped on your butt. That's gonna hurt.
Pretty much anything that Bret Hart did, just run those moves back.
Run them all back. He's the greatest of all time. Why wouldn't you?
Am I frozen?
Wouldn't you? You're not frozen to me,
Joe.
You are now a little bit.
Oh.
Oh, now you are. Yeah.
Oh no.
I'm not the problem. Oh, there he is. He is so back.
I was frozen for a while on my end.
This is what happens when you get older.
No, well, I have a question. Are there, besides the Murder Machines, are there any tag teams that, in theory, could walk out after the match?
I think the Murder Machines, the story is there. I think the Hounds of Hell are probably like one that people would want to see.
Yeah, but Brody's got a match against Okada, so that's not going to happen.
Yeah, I guess he does have like that singles match, huh? Who else? They've been rebuilding a little bit, but I'm trying to think.
The only reason I ask is this a match where it looks like it's, okay, the Outrunners and all that, but after the Outrunners lose, they have the big like
stare down
next challenger. Yeah.
Speedball Mike Bailey and Josh Alexander as a duo?
When are the Bucks coming back?
That's an excellent question.
We're in LA.
It's true. They would get a huge pop. Wouldn't hate
I
it.
mean, that would
Kenny's
be
back.
awesome.
Shit would get interesting. FTR is a good shout too. I think they're like a little preoccupied with some title adjacent stuff, which is good. If they're going after fan favorites, you could send 2.0 out to be like the next ones to get destroyed.
Yeah, I'm just thinking, and maybe that's why they put this on the Bucks would be the most sense then. That maybe that's why you put this on the card to have. I mean, I guess you could just do it just to have your champs on the card, which I won't complain about, to have all your belts there. But
sure,
you know,
I think the Bucks is a great show because you're gonna want them around from this time to the All In build. So, it just feels like they're due to confront the Death Riders, but maybe they're just moving the fuck on. Maybe moving the fuck on from that. Well, some other news, and then we'll head to our commercial break, and we'll let Ryan kick rocks for for a minute. But a lot of people were asking about Jamie Hayter. She is dealing with some visa issues, so that is good information. She'll be on her way back and relevant in AEW women's division pictures as soon as she's able to work those out, but she's working the UK independent scene at the time. Gabe Kidd has been getting used sporadically on AEW. He's been working some appearances. Last I had heard, is not re-signed to New Japan, but I don't think it's like a door is closed kind of things. And also Matt Jackson and his wife have a new series, a travel series out called Never Not Jet Lagged. So that should be kind of fun. Unfortunately, some contract releases or expirations rather also seem like they're on their way up. Layla Hirsch was the first of those casualties. Ray Phoenix is now a free agent and expected to go to WWE. I don't think that's the end of the line. I'm nervous it's going to be a lot of ROH women's talent and Keith Lee, because I feel like Keith Lee's contract is coming up, and I just haven't. I have not heard of like he's on his way back in a really long time. I unfortunately think that guy's career might just be never have truly covered from the heart issues he was dealing with COVID, and you don't fuck around with heart issues. So a few notes there. If either of you want to weigh in on those, let me know.
I mean, so the Ray Phoenix thing is, we all knew that was coming. That's we don't really have to go into it because it's not really our show. I'm very curious how he'll be presented, because if they had timed him coming over with Penta at the same exact time, my feeling is that they come out like they're a tag team, but Penta is now
kind of
on
off
his
and
own.
running as a singles guy. Yeah.
Like it almost feels like it'd be a step back to have him. It feels weird to say this, but it almost not necessarily a step back to have him go with Ray, to be like, you've kind of established him as this awesome singles guy. It would have, but you never know. I don't understand the legit Layla Hirsch thing at all. They had room for her. They had room for her in ROH. They had room for her in up on the main roster. Now, like you said, you're worried that it's going to be some of the women's talent. I also wonder if it's a matter of her not wanting to have certain kind of, I'm not blaming her, but like, I have a feeling a lot of those wrestlers might be asked to go on a more per appearance type situation, and she might have been like, no. That
could very well be. You don't know, because it's a contract that didn't get renewed, right? We don't know what those the terms of that might look like. But it is a bummer. She's one of my favorites, and it just feels like because they don't really care about ROH, like I'm worried about her and Diamante and Kira Hogan and Mercedes Martinez and all these people that we haven't seen in a minute. You know, like that.
I have a lot of worry for them. So I think it's. I don't know. I think that'd be a complete waste of all of them. I do have a question, and I want Joe's opinion on this, but I'll forget my question. Do we have any idea how badass Billy Gunn is in the WWE game?
I don't know. I know that like maybe he owns his own stuff and they did a sync licensing deal, but I don't know.
I was just curious.
That's a good question. Maybe I'll ask Sean that. I'm sure he's gotten asked about it several times. But But yeah, Joe, any thoughts? Layla, Ray Phoenix, travel series?
Just on Layla, I felt like there's so many times when they could have done things with her, like put her in some factions or do something. Either she got injured and that kind of set her back, and then they never quite reset her to the level she was at.
Yeah.
I know that we talked about one time we thought it'd be really cool to put her like in like the Blackpool Combat Club back in the day, or like have her be in some kind of like Serena D dojo faction, or do something cool like that with her. But they just never found a footing with her, with booking and with creative for her. And I don't know. It's too bad. So hopefully a fresh start somewhere where it'll help her.
I think she could kill it in the knockouts. I think it would be awesome if she chose to go to Japan. That would be like an awesome tour for her. And I don't think it's like, it certainly doesn't sound like a bad terms thing. So hopefully like she can make her way back, but I just can't imagine WWE picking her up when they still don't know how to use Ivy Nile, who's basically like the same exact archetype as a little lady tag. Ophelia letting us know that Billy Gunn has a Legends deal, apparently, and they put him on the Legends roster. That's pretty cool. Good for him. Good for him. That's actually funny and in contradiction with some things that, some details of things that I've heard. But that's about all we got, Ryan. Do you want to stick around, or do you want to go to bed like the old man you are?
I'm going to head out. I got nothing to add to the show.
You don't want to guess? Honestly, I love that theme.
Yeah, you just wanted to use the gimmick.
You want to guess 3 things that happened on the show tonight in a ridiculous fashion before you go?
Okay, that I'll do. I'll play that game. Okay. I'm trying to remember what I know was predicted for tonight. Not predicted, but announced.
About the contract signing.
Oh, well, okay. There was violence at the contract signing. My guess is, I'm trying to think what will happen here.
It doesn't have to be accurate. It just has to be ridiculous.
I know, but I'm like, I can't let them have Ricochet get one up on Swerve at the contract signing, because he's been getting one up on Swerve across the board. But I also don't know what they would have Swerve do.
Sure.
My guess is that Ricochet. I got caught up in chat reading someone Serena Dojo is just a big flag. That made me laugh.
That was me.
That's a good one.
It is though.
It is, but my guess is Ricochet signs, Swerve signs. As Swerve is getting out of the ring, Ricochet makes a move to attack him. Swerve turns around and catches him, and Ricochet runs.
Ooh. Very close. Very close. I'd probably say
Ricochet actually hits him?
I'm saying you're about 95% of the way there.
Ooh, what did I miss?
So Swerve attacked Ricochet. So Swerve caught Ricochet and stabbed him with scissors.
They let Swerve use the scissors.
Yeah, we had some scissoring going on between the two of them.
Hey-o.
I'm actually a little surprised. I knew they would. I didn't think they'd let Ricochet get one up on Swerve, but I didn't think they'd let Swerve actually get to hurt Ricochet. I was all right. So okay, I'm 95% on that one.
It's kind of disappointing, honestly.
Okay. Wait, there was that multi-man tag match.
There was the 8-man All-Star tag match.
The Callis family versus
the other guys.
The other guys that were all awesome, but just thrown together. So because it's the Callis family wins because it's the established team through cheating, because it's the Callis family, and because AEW has been doing this lately and it's very annoying. Callis family beats down Orange Cassidy, beats down the faces afterwards.
Why don't we let JPJ answer. Bow, 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 bow. Oh, Joe
Bow, bow,
actually has a
bow.
snowboard.
Shoot it. Yeah. Hi, everyone.
JPJ.
JPJ.
Hello. Thanks for having me. I came in to wish the old man above me a happy B-Day, a happy birthday.
So
Hell yeah.
old.
Yeah, I think I'm older than you, but you're
think
the
so
old
too,
man.
but
You're
for
the old
tonight,
man
these are the
today,
old
tonight.
ones.
So you are filling the old man role tonight. So
I'm older than all of you.
well, listen. All right. All right. Yeah. But I wanted to pop in, say happy birthday, hang out.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Wait, so JPJ could tell me if I was right.
You were talking
Assuming
about
you
what?
saw Dynamite, right?
I did see Dynamite. So
He's
you're talking
going. He
about
better. He's reviewing it tomorrow with Drew.
yes, me. But you're talking about the Ricochet segment.
No,
Ricochet
I guess
swerve? Oh, you were past that.
I heard that I was 95% right on that because
We're
I didn't
past
see it because
that. We were
family came
talking
over.
about.
What was the new?
Oh.
What was the new thing we were talking about?
We were talking about the All-Star tag match.
And my prediction was that the Callis family wins, and because AEW's been obsessed with letting the heels beat down faces after a match, that the Callis family beat down the faces after the match.
Am I allowed to? We're talk. I can just say what happened.
Oh yeah,
I can say
see how close
you
I
are
was.
half.
Yes, you can. Yeah,
half credit. You get half credit.
Half credit for that.
Yes, you were right about the heels beating the crap out of the faces afterwards. You were right about that. However, Will Ospreay got the victory in that match with a.
They let the good guys win.
Hidden blade, yes. It's a good match, as you would expect. Multi-man craziness everywhere. But
I'm going to be honest. I saw Mark Briscoe, assumed he was taking the pin.
Yeah, no. Ospreay got the pin.
No.
And then
Brian Keith's also in there, buddy. I mean,
yeah, Brian Keith was in
Oh,
there.
I forgot he was.
He's a bounty hunter who's really bad at collecting bounties.
Yeah. So that you get you were you were 50% on that one, my friend. 50%.
But there was a
Did take
fight
an
with a beatdown.
blade to put him away though, so that's it. At least it took a lot. Took a lot to
Yeah, it
get
took
there.
a lot. Yeah.
That match was. I was not super excited for it because it's just kind of like, oh look, a giant tag with a bunch of great guys in it, but the in ring was like pretty fucking ridiculous.
Oh yeah, it was wild. It was wild. And then they did the thing where they teased. Kyle Fletcher comes out. He's beating the crap. They're holding down Ospreay. They're beating him up. And then Mark Davis got angry for about 10 seconds. And they teased that he could have a problem with it. But then they kind of gave him a chair and were like, no, you're going to hit Ospreay. And he did. And then that was that. So, yeah.
There's always the beatdown now, and it's driving me nuts.
This is gonna be the fastest review we ever do because we're just gonna
Could be.
let Ryan guess stuff.
This is the way we're going tonight.
What's the third thing? The third thing you
Hey,
want to guess.
If you want to guess something, Ryan, do you want to guess who answered Max Caster's open challenge and how it went?
Ooh. So I wouldn't have predicted. I forgot he had a segment. I don't know if they announced it. I don't think it's Bowens yet, so I'm gonna have to hold on that. I think that's supposed to be like the whatever there.
That's correct.
It's got.
Yeah.
It was not,
be
it was not
so-
Speedball, by the way, if you were thinking.
Okay.
It wasn't like a big debut. Yeah. Well,
So it's not a debut. So you can at least give me that, not a debut, because that was where I was going. Okay. So it's been Hangman, Brody King.
One, did you say Hangman or Hangman? I mean, we have
Hangman. It's been Hangman, Adam Page.
Hangman.
Brody
Hangman.
King. Who was there a third that beat him up?
It was definitely those two.
So they're at a certain level.
I think there was a third, but I can't think of who. I thought he's done. Yeah, it's definitely those two. But I thought
feel like there
another
was two, but I can't remember who it was.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of who would be, because it's someone who's like involved. Like they don't pull out a rando for this. Because when Brody King got involved, he immediately got thrown into his match with Okada. Oh man, this is a tough one.
This is so funny.
He's an apple.
I said Brian Keith was a bad bounty hunter. I didn't see that. He said he's an apple now.
Trying to see the multi-man killed me because that I would have said it would have been Orange Cassidy, but they did that multi-man and took him away from me. I'm legitimate. I'm also drawing a blank on some people, which is always a tough thing. They have so many wrestlers, and somehow I'm drawing a blank.
It wasn't Ricky Starks.
No.
And that's because he doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah. Roosh was the third guy. by the way.
Roosh was the third guy that beat that.
And he's
Roosh was the third guy that answered. Yeah.
All right. I'm not. I'm just looking at the roster. I'm not
He's cheating.
picking.
100% he's cheating.
No.
100%. He's like, I gotta get this one right. I gotta
He's
keep
like, I'm
count
gonna
my
say I'm
birthdays.
looking at the roster.
Bandito is still in that thing with Jericho where he would have been my prediction.
I would say another hint: higher. No offense to Bandito, higher level.
Higher
level
than
than
Bandito.
Bandito.
Okay.
Presented
Yes.
higher than Bandito.
Higher level than Bandito.
So Prince Nana.
Nailed it.
But hold on.
If Prince Nana came in and beat the shit out of Max Caster, that would rule.
Yeah.
All right. I have my guess.
That would have led the show.
I have my guess. Adam Cole.
Mm. That was a good guess, though.
It was a good guess. It was a good guess, but it was Jay White. It was Jay White.
Okay, so I was walking there. I just didn't get all the way.
Yeah, he came in and he also said like, "Man, you know what's gonna happen? Cope's gonna win the title, and I'm definitely not gonna turn on him. There's no way I'd ever do that. I'm such a trustworthy guy. That's why they named me after a knife." Is what he said.
Wait. Switchblade did a promo after talking about Cope winning the title.
He did.
Mm-hmm.
So is Switchblade joining the Death Riders?
I don't think so, but I think he's going after Cope. And I'm starting to think Cope wins the title and Christian cashes in right away.
Yeah, I think Jay White's message with Cope after Cope wins hits him with the Switchblade.
Yeah.
And then, Christian will come in and pick the scraps.
Mm-hmm.
I think so too.
I would agree.
Now he's definitely betraying Cope, which I'm okay with. It's just don't go to Death Riders. If you do it on your own, I don't care.
Yeah.
No, there was some other stuff with Wheeler today that I think that the Death Riders is breaking up and on its way out. So
Wait, can I guess that then? Since you've given
sure,
basically
we're just gonna do the whole review
This
like
is the
this.
whole review. Is you guessing this?
I don't care. You guys have me in on it, and I'm having fun with it. So you said Wheeler. There's something with Wheeler that makes you think the Death Riders are breaking up, right?
A young
He had a
Wheeler
match with-
Utah. He
had a match
Cope
with
too.
Cope.
Yeah. Really good match too. Really
very good. Very, very good.
My prediction. So one, Yuta loses, which will piss Moxley off. So that's somewhere in there. But my second prediction part of that is Copeland has a chance to hurt Yuta like he's been hurting everyone else and doesn't do it.
Very good.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a wrestling trope right out of the back. Like,
yeah, but he shook his hands and goes,
Yes.
"That's what respect feels like."
ooh,
Which was
'cause
well
Yuta
done.
gets no respect.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get no respect. And then Mox came in and pushed him around a little bit, and Wheeler fired back, like gave him a little slap ski. And then Mox chased him around backstage for a little bit. So some good stuff there.
So is
Yeah.
Yuta actually out, or is Yuta playing dead?
I don't know. He pushed him in the face. He gave him like a good face push.
A good
Get out of my
a shove, a face shove.
Yeah, like get out of my
Big time
face,
face
and
shove, as
walked
they say.
off. Because
But
Moxley
haven't
was
we had
pissed
that
about the
before?
handshake. Yeah, but now Muta's all he has.
Yeah, it doesn't
Right now,
fit
so-
it doesn't fit the story if he's trying to take Wheeler out, taking Wheeler out in a different manner that's not physical but more like mind games, fucking with him.
And Mox did a nice promo with this too. That was like, "Congratulations, Cope. I'm now I'm alone. I'm alone now. You've weakened my crew around me, so it's just me and you this weekend. So we'll see if that's true. We'll see if that's true.
Is this earned on the Yuta front?
I think his reaction was really good, and I think he's weirdly the most over part of the Death Riders right
Well,
now.
I know he's over. He gets the "fuck you, Yuta" chant, so that's like a. But like, I'm just saying,
Just say,
has
"Fuck
there been?
Yuta." Like, it's right there.
Yeah, but crowds aren't that clever.
I think they're telling him to get a haircut.
There was some get a haircut chance.
Well, that's when he goes face. When he goes face, he gets a nice haircut. You see him. He
Trim
looks
the beard.
happier.
For the beard up.
Yeah.
That was Ryan Guesses Wrestling. I
One
feel
piece of
like-
production.
That's great.
That is just, I mean, a 4 out of 4 on the fun scale. I feel like I might have just peed a little. So excited about that. But Ryan, happy birthday. I hope your day was filled with love. I hope you were as uncomfortable as I was with all the nice things that people wanted to say about you.
People were nice, and it was weird.
Once Jeremy was really nice.
Well, he was too sick to be anything but.
That has to be weird.
Yeah, it made me very uncomfortable. It made me very uncomfortable.
I mean, I feel good because he didn't even go on In the Weeds today. He left Joel solo hosting for at least a quarter of it until he was joined by Kimmy Sokol and then SP3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Well, Ryan, happy birthday for another 48 minutes or so. We appreciate you around here. We hope that you have a wonderful year ahead. And thanks for being so great on this, buddy. We appreciate you.
Well, thank you guys. And now I'm going to duck out before you even do anything else. JPJ, thank you for coming on to wish me a happy birthday.
Absolutely. Thanks for allowing, well, not you, but thanks for Kate and Joe to allow me to come on.
We love you.
You didn't know about it, but thanks for letting me hop on real quick and say happy birthday.
Oh, no, I'm glad I didn't know. It was a pleasant surprise.
Good.
Good. So you guys have fun, and this is me leaving.
Oh, happy birthday!
All right.
Well, JPJ, I mean, you're welcome to stick around.
I mean, it's up. Yeah, I mean, I can hang for a little bit. It's up to you. I can hang, or I can let you two do your thing.
This is normally where we go to commercial break, but I don't see the commercial break in the video thing, Joe. Is that done differently?
I haven't looked around in so long. I don't know. Ryan, get back here.
Is it under? No, it's not under here. How do we do the commercials?
I found background music. Where in the world?
Oh, it's probably just the music, and then we put up the overlay as Ryan literally announces the production he's doing every week, and we still don't know how this goes.
I think we did it.
Nailed it. Commercial block.
We'd like to thank each and every one of you for tuning in every Monday night to listen to The Shining Wizards. If you'd like to continue to support us outside of listening, we've got a few ways for you to do that. If you shop at Amazon, go over to amazon.shiningwizards.com, do your shopping as usual, and when you make your purchase, a little bit of that purchase price will go back to support the show. If you like to wear t-shirts, merch.shiningwizards.com will take you to our Pro Wrestling Tees store, where we've got over a dozen great designs from over 11 years of professional wrestling podcasting. You can become a Patreon supporter at patreon.com/wizardspodcast, where each and every week we call out your name as one of our show producers, and the more you support us, the more things that you're entitled to receive, and believe me, they are fantastic. If you can't support us monetarily, if you don't shop at Amazon, that's absolutely fine. Continue to listen to us wherever you listen to us on the World Wide Web, and make sure you like, rate, review, subscribe, do all that good stuff. Doesn't cost you anything, helps us out, and we can continue to bring you the love fest that is The Shining Wizards.
What's up, folks? It's your boy, the Impact Player, Mr. Philly Ray, inviting all of you to check out the Turnbuckle Throwbacks Wrestling Podcast. Join us as we cover all things current in the world of pro wrestling, as well as paying homage to the old school, the Squared Circle. So listen in and find out why we are the recognized symbol of excellence in sports entertainment broadcasting. Find us on all social media platforms and anywhere you get your podcast from. And as always, we are the proudest members of the Shining Wizards Network and Rant Entertainment Media.
Are you tired of being lied to every day by the mainstream media?
Do you want to know what's really going on in the world?
Do you want to make up your own mind about things and not be told what to think or say?
Then listen to Inconclusive Breakdown, a weekly anti-PC look at the world of entertainment and current events, brought to you without censorship or filters.
You can find us everywhere you listen to podcasts, BitChute, and on ShiningWizardsNetwork.com.
And also, we're a proud member of the Shining Wizards Network.
Got 30 minutes to kill?
Come check out 30 Screams or Less, where we review a horror movie in 30 minutes or less. We cover new movies and old ones too.
We'll give our honest thoughts on the movie, good or shit, as well as a rating of each one that we watch.
New episodes weekly, available on the Shining Wizards Network and wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts.
I'm Steve.
And I'm Corey.
Come check us out at 30 Screams or Less.
G'day guys, my name is Thomas, one half of the Broadcast Podcast. With our podcast, we go back and watch wrestling events from WWE, WWF, WCW, ECW, AEW, and many other wrestling promotions. You can check us out on Twitter at The Brokast, that's TheBrokast, and you can also download all episodes on Apple Podcast, Castbox, Castro, and many other podcast apps.
If you like your music heavy, then check out Radioactive Metal on the Shining Wizards Network. For over 16 years now, Radioactive Metal has been one of the longest running podcasts. Over the years, we've interviewed some legendary metal acts, had some awesome discussions, and cranked a hell of a lot of tunes. So join your cool Uncle Snowy and his co-host Aaron for the audio mosh pit that is Radioactive Metal here on the Shining Wizards Network.
Well, the action is underway.
What's up, everyone? When on the Shining Wizards Network, be sure to check out Wrestling Night in Canada. If we're not recording another kick-ass podcast,
or playing in punk bands,
or recording kick-ass heavy metal albums,
then we're sitting back, we're grabbing a couple brews, and going over everything to do in the world of pro wrestling.
Because we're from Winnipeg, you idiots.
The Mark Order Podcast is the only show you need if you're looking for dedicated coverage of everything AEW on the Shining Wizards Network. Join us live on YouTube every Wednesday night at 10:15 p.m. Eastern after Dynamite to chat along with the show. If you can't join us live, listen to us on your favorite podcast platform. Follow us on all social channels at Mark Order Pod and use the hashtag #JoinTheMarkOrder, because if you don't find us,
we will find you.
I'm Kevin Rowe.
I'm Al Day.
And we're a couple of down under pounders that co-host Rogue Day Dots, an action figure collecting podcast where we talk about, well, just about anything that tickles our fancy at any given moment.
We're grumpy old men, and sometimes people get on our nerves. And when you get on our nerves, guess what? You get off the lawn.
Get off my lawn, asshole! We also go on a little bit of a mission. We go back and we're grading every wrestling figure line that's out there. I'm talking LJNs. I'm talking Jacks. I'm talking Hasbros. Who doesn't like a little Hulkaplex? It's a Gorilla Brain Wrestling podcast production found on the Shining Wizards Network.
I'm Duke Bags.
Kevin Rowe.
And together we are the co-hosts of Your Duke and Road. If you want to hear about some terrible wrestling shows, we got you covered.
Well, we talk about good ones, too.
We're currently talking about the death of WCW.
I know what we're fucking talking about. Sometimes we get guest spots, like from the Taskmaster. I like to listen to the Your Duke and Rope podcast. They're funny guys. I like when they talk about the Nards plows. I like Nards plows. That's a good move. And I like the Dungeon of Doom. You know, sometimes I call my butt the Dungeon of Doom. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, Oklahoma.
Let me tell you a little bit about my favorite wrestling podcast. All right. It's a podcast from two men, Duke Bags, Kevin Rowe. They talk about professional wrestling. It's a man's sport. All right? And who better to talk about a man's sport than Duke? Oklahoma.
And once in a while, Vince Russo stops by.
Whoa, you piece of shit! If you're not listening to the Your Duke and Rope podcast in the back with the boys, you piece of shit, I don't know what you're doing. It's, you gotta slide one in there. If you're a man, you're talking about something only a man can do. You're talking about sliding one in there. Bro, take the time to slide one in there. All right, bro, you piece of shit. Slide one in there. A Gorilla Brain Wrestling podcast production that you can find on the Shining Wizards Network.
Oh my gosh. Well, we are so back, ladies and gentlemen, with only JPJ.
I am back. I am now the Mark Order.
He's the host. That's just the way it goes sometimes.
It is
so,
just I. Now I'm in the corner.
Let's find an appropriate layout. That's not bad. That's not bad. We can rock and roll like this, but thank you so much for sticking with us. It was a very happy birthday celebration for Ryan at the beginning of the show, but we're going to get into AEW Dynamite, the parts that Ryan wasn't guessing. But before we do, we're going to flat out ask JPJ if he wants to stick around. Do you want to stick around to talk Dynamite? You don't have
If you guys will have me, I'll stick
Hell
around.
yeah.
I can
Hell
stick
yeah.
around. Yeah.
We love that. And we're also gonna plug our t-shirts at the Mark Order Podcast Pro Wrestling Tees store. My God, look at this. This beautiful, unique, creative design, which you've never seen before. Certainly not on our background, but it does help us out if you are able to add us to your existing order, beat those shipping charges by picking up a Mark Order shirt, or just buy one of each, okay? You're going to want the double-sided, which are the two on the right, and you're going to want the single-sided because you don't want people to know just from one side or the other. You want them to know front and back, I'm a supporter of the Mark Order Podcast, okay? You want to be associated with us. We're extremely normal, not unhinged at all people, and you're going to want to support how normal we are. So please do, if you can, pick up a Mark Order Podcast t-shirt. We appreciate you so much. Let's dig into this episode of Dynamite. Matthew Hook's asking, what do we think of Dynamite? Jesse Ozog says, not my favorite explosive. I'm more of a pipe bomb gal myself. It's just being a CM Punk fan. You know, that's just part of what it was. But how did you guys feel about Dynamite overall? I gotta say, I feel like a broken record with this. The switch to the smaller venues has been so good for them. Every single one of them has a unique layout as opposed to arenas, which all essentially look the same. The energy is picked way up. The lighting is so much better. We had Ian Riccaboni on commentary again. These are the kinds of things you want to see when a company doubles its budget per week. Basically, I think it was reported by Wrestling Observer they're up to like $3 million a week. You want to see some changes in the presentation. I feel like these ones are really helping out. JPJ, how do you feel about this episode overall? Feel kind of go homey to me, but are you in agreement with what it seems like a lot of people are in these production changes really starting to pay off? We saw them in some of the vignettes too, I think.
Yeah, I think big time. I think the small arenas are what they needed. Like they have less. I mean, when you have less people in a bigger arena, it's just not going to sound good. So now you have less people in an arena that fits the amount of people that are there. And these are loud, energetic shows. They sound like the shows that we were hearing the first couple years when when this all started, you know, because they were at smaller arenas. So I think that's been huge. I think the lighting, it's brighter. It looks brighter a little bit. Yeah, the production changes have been good. I love when Riccaboni is there. I think he adds so much to the table when they do a 3-man table with him, not even as the lead guy, but when he's like, even him doing like a secondary role there, he still adds so much to the table. Like it's wonderful. Yeah, and I think they've just been doing solid shows.
Table, who was just on your table?
That was my cat Lou. That was the king. Yeah.
Lou!
I don't know where he went. Oh, he's down here now.
Legend.
He's trying to leave. But yes,
he's like,
yes, there
he
he
goes.
goes. He'll drop kick that door open again before this is probably open. That's what he does. But
legend.
Yeah, I love, and you had mentioned it. You did a tweet about it, Kate. But I also think like the backstage segments are better now than they have been in a while. Like I just feel like AEW is on a good little run here. The show tonight was solid. I thought it was good. It was a good go home show. Nothing too nutty or anything crazy like that. But I thought it was a good show.
Yeah, it was very go homey, but good for a go home in my opinion. Joe, kind of what were your overall vibes of this? And we talked a little bit at the beginning of this Revolution card is stacked. Did this get you excited for it? Are you in the mood for this?
You know, tonight Dynamite was very all right to me. It was fine. I'm gonna trademark that. Dyna all right.
You could have your own fun scale.
Yeah.
Like Dyna All Right is probably like a 2.
Yeah. For
For
me,
Ryan,
I
it's
mean,
this face.
the in-ring was good tonight, but I thought a lot of the promo stuff sold me more on the pay-per-view tonight than the in-ring action. So I thought that was good. Kind of what JPJ was saying. A lot of the backstage, pre-recorded stuff is looking really good. I like the fact they do some things away from just behind, in the hallways. I like the fact they have sets and things like that now when they do those backstage segments. And yeah, tonight's venue was really fun because it's a smaller venue. Plus, it had a more old school ballroom theater type of vibe to it in Sacramento.
Yeah, a lot of character.
I'm going to be interested to see in 2 weeks when they come to Omaha how they polish the turn that they're going to be in, because the arena that they're going to be in is the worst one of the big-ish arenas we have here.
Sure.
So, and the lighting there is terrible. So hopefully they'll improve it there.
See what they're able to do with it. I love this. A man got stabbed with scissors and someone almost got set on fire. Nothing crazy. I meant more like storyline wise. Like we didn't pivot too hard, but there was a lot of violence. So let's get into it. Some really good stuff, man. This is the best stuff, in my opinion, that we've gotten out of MJF in a long time. This episode's with him kind of poking at Hangman a little bit, like he did when he attacked Christopher Daniels. And he basically says, like, man, come out and get me. Come out and get me. And later in the episode, he does. I love that he's out there with Renee, who's just always on overdrive. But let's talk about this whole through line, because this was some incredible, incredible stuff that we got. We got MJF in the parking lot, and Hangman promised that he was going to show up, but MJF is out there jaw-jockeying, saying that he's the main character of AEW, but we see this non-Tesla, but still electric truck with horns on it pull up because Hangman stands on business. He's like, I do like this green technology. I'm not a fan of the Nazi situation, so I'm going to trade in my Tesla for this new truck. But he comes driving up, and MJF and Renee, wisely, go running, and he's just chasing him into the arena. And MJF hits the heat seeker and reveals his MJF did nothing wrong shirt. And he goes to set Hangman Page on fire to prove a point after knocking him out with the diamond ring. He's got, you always got to keep gasoline on you when you're a wrestler. Like, you just got to have it around here. But I love this because Hangman set someone on fire. Darby set someone on fire. Eddie Kingston also got denied. But, like, how come everybody else gets to set... Jack Perry set someone on fire. How come everybody else gets to set someone on fire and that everybody thinks it's cool? But when MJF tries to do it, suddenly he's the bad guy. This was really, really good stuff. It took all of the security guards, all the King's horses, and all the King's men to keep him away from him, but just some really good... I was like, wow, our thumbnail team is going to be having a field day with some of the shots from this, because it is just... one shot after another. I love that MJF kind of said, like, normally he basically said, like, I'm not normally like in a rush. I'm not normally in a rush to fight someone. I think he said toy with my food first or whatever, but like he has wanted to beat the shit out of Hangman for the better part of this feud instead of be like, I'll do all this low-hanging fruit stuff. I'll take all these cheap tactics and all these different routes. Like, most of this has been him actually wanting to fight Hangman. And I love that. And I love that he's like, this guy has done some really fucked up shit. And y'all cheer him in your weird little stupid Mark squad, which I'm a part of. So some really, really good stuff here. Like, I like this as go homey type things. JPJ, our beloved guest, what did you think of what we got here?
I liked it. This has been my favorite thing that's been happening over the last little bit with MJF and Hangman. I think for me, this is kind of the MJF I've been waiting for since he came back. He did the stuff with Adam Cole because they wanted to finish that, and then, not that I disliked per se all the stuff with Jarrett and Dustin Rhodes, but I want him fighting big time opponents. I want him in big time feuds. I want him in big time matches because he's a big time guy. And I feel like this is the first time, no disrespect to Adam Cole, I just think that story nobody cared about anymore. Yeah. But this right here, like this match on Sunday is the match I'm looking forward to the most. This is the match for me. I've loved what we've been getting out of both these guys in this feud because not only are we seeing that intensity from MJF, we've been seeing that is Hangman's intensity, but they both want to kill each other. And it's good to see MJF kind of matching that energy of Hangman instead of just kind of doing his normal MJ. He is still, but like, it's good to see him matching the energy of like, no, you want to kill me, I want to kill you.
It's way less like the drug addicts of this town is like
Yes.
He's getting to the point. I also love that there's this aspect of it that Hangman now regrets some of the things that he did. And tonight MJF was like, let me prove my point by setting this guy on fire. Like MJF fully embracing all the things that Hangman regrets, I think is such an interesting turn on this. Guys, leave a thumbs up on this video. We're going to get Joe's thoughts on this MJF Adam Page through line. Much like JPJ, this is also one of the things I'm looking forward to most at Revolution because I feel like this story's just been an absolute home run, Joe.
Yeah, I think these two guys can be kind of almost like a forever feud, kind of like how Heyman has with Swerve. I feel like these two can be each other's foils going forward for the duration of their time in AEW. I feel like they're very much contemporaries as far as how they started in AEW, their trajectory. MJF's insecurity has always come out and always motivated him to do wild things. So I think this has brought out that again. And his way of trying to gain the admiration of fans by doing everything that Hangman has done and not getting that admiration is fun to watch. But I'm just to see this match and be, the first of probably several more to come, especially when one of them gets the title belt. I mean, sign me up.
Yeah, I'm also very much looking forward to this. And I feel like it's not lost on me that Hangman was looking for Swerve there for a little bit, right? So, like, certainly feels like this is going to be Hangman's redemption arc. And starting against MJF as the turn to being like a proper face now, I think is pretty interesting. But let's take it back to the beginning of the show again and get into this contract signing segment between Swerve and Ricochet. Swerve doesn't have the embassy robe, as pointed out by, Ricochet doesn't have it, as Swerve points out, but he says he's going to be there at Revolution with some upgrades to it. And Ricochet brings up how these contract signings don't really go so great for Swerve in the past. His house got burned down at one of the last ones he had. So some really important nuanced stories there. But Ricochet just says that this is another step toward being a world champion, right? Like, I love the idea that a number one contendership got thrown on this. I think that's a really healthy move for the story. But Swerve takes a shot here saying that Ricochet will be remembered for Swerve reviving his career and his ring announcer wife. So shout out to Samantha Irvin in this. And the scissors are pulled out. But Swerve has his own scissors and stabs Ricochet in the head, as one typically does. Quite literally a blood feud here. And we get the announcement that AEW pay-per-views are coming to Prime. Let's skip ahead a little bit to the physicality that we get with Brody King and Swerve versus Ricochet and Okada. This was our main event for the evening. It did end up having everything kind of break down and Ricochet getting in a belt shot on Swerve. This was a pretty good, take two different stories and combine them into a tag situation. But as far as the Ricochet and Swerve side of things, we did have Ricochet getting in that belt shot on Swerve. Are you guys thinking that Swerve goes over in this, or do you think Ricochet escapes with the win? I'm thinking this goes to Swerve. Joe, we'll start with you.
Well, yeah, I mean, wrestling trope logic tells us it will, since we've gone back and forth. Yeah. Swerve got the upper hand tonight in the beginning. Ricochet got the upper hand tonight, hitting him with the belt. So, I think Swerve goes over and recaptures the embassy robe, or however it looks, whatever embellishments that Ricochet is doing. I was really kind of surprised that I didn't know who was going to take the pin in that match, because you don't want to pin Brody and make him look weak ahead at his match. And I thought maybe it just did a DQ finish,
Sure.
But so I was kind of surprised the Swerve takes the pin.
Yeah, it was kind of like he had to, but it's just wild to think that that's like an okay thing to do. Am I glitching? I feel like I'm glitching.
That's just the world's natural state, yeah.
Just how I am. JPJ, we'll throw it to you. What did you think of the contract signing segment and the main event that we got out of this?
Yeah, I thought the contract segments are what they are, right? But I thought this one was good. I thought it was kind of good to see Swerve get the one up on Ricochet. Like, he knew what Ricochet was going to do. Like, he knew his steps and stopped him and kind of gave him some of his own medicine. I thought that was fun. And then, I thought the tag match was also good. I think Swerve taking the pinfall makes me feel pretty confident that Swerve is going to win on Sunday. Especially in the way that he did it with the cheap belt shot and just kind of another kind of cheap victory for Ricochet over Swerve. So I feel like Swerve will go over on Sunday. I know we're talking about those two, but I just love Brody King. I love Brody King and everything he stands for. Best. And I want him to, he's not going to, but I would love him to win on Sunday, because I just want everything for Brody King. That's all. But yeah, Swerve's going to win on Sunday between Swerve and Ricochet.
Yeah, I need my Hellhounds to get a tag title shot sooner than later.
Yeah.
I think for sure.
Yeah.
JPJ, because we don't always get to have you around here, how have you felt about this character for Ricochet? Like, I think a lot of people have been blown away by the fact not only that he can hold his own on the mic, but like, this is a pretty wild and layered character.
Yeah, I say it. Yeah, I say it almost every week, but like, he exceeds my expectation. He gets better every week. Like, I feel like he's getting more and more into and owning this role as the weeks go on. He has, obviously, we know that he's always had what it takes in the ring. He's one of the best of all time in there. But I really only knew Ricochet from what I've seen on North American, I've seen the matches with Ospreay from back then, but I didn't know much about Ricochet until he was in NXT and he was in front of me. So this is the first time that I'm really seeing him with an actual character, the whole time that I've seen him. And he's blown me away. He really has blown me away with how good he is. And I feel like he's getting stronger and getting more into it every week. And it is a creepy, dick-headed, it's just, there's a lot of layers to the character. Yeah, he's a nerd. He's insecure, but he's evil. And there's some American Psycho vibes in it for me as well. There's a lot of things to it. And I think he's absolutely crushing it. So
I'm with you. With you. Well, let's dig in to our 8-man tag that we kind of talked about earlier with Ryan. But we do have this nice combo from Will Ospreay on Brian Keith. Not much to say about this other than that the in-ring was obviously ridiculous, right?
Yeah. What happened? Oh, there she is.
Yep. I'm here.
You're back. You're back.
I don't tend to love these because they just feel very go-homey. But the in-ring on this was just so damn high that it exceeded my expectations so wildly. It's just, I was kind of this will be fun. And then I was like, okay, this was really fun, even though it was kind of obvious how things were probably going to go. We already talked about this a little bit with Ryan, so I don't want to harp on it. But let's kick it to you, Joe. I had a blast watching this, even though I didn't feel like it was necessarily the most productive wrestling television. It didn't take me long to get into who gives a shit mode because the in-ring was so much fun.
It was, when I saw the matchup of the teams, I'm like, this is almost a weirder version of a conglomeration than the conglomeration. Just the team of Briscoe and Orange and Hobbs and Osprey. Yeah, it was really fun. I thought everyone had their time to get their stuff in to like really look good ahead of the pay-per-view. I thought there was a few times where I thought they could end the match with, I thought maybe Hobbs was going to get the pin win toward the end there after Orange had an elbow drop off of his shoulders. We got a meat brawl. That's always fun, and but yeah, I left thinking that how much I want to see Hobbs have a bigger singles run again.
Yeah.
I want him to be built back up to be a monster and just go after one of the singles belts again. Yeah, I feel like we had him come back and he was having the tag team for a while, and now he's kind of floating in the middle. So if we could get him focused on a title, that'd be great.
I will say I really do like this feud with Big Bill, though, because it's like, okay, if these guys aren't going to be chasing gold, having them just face each other and like just like big dude fighting it out is a really fun use of these guys if they're not going to be in the hunt for gold. Some of the rhythm of this, I think so much of it has been built on Collision, and Collision was quite frankly pointless for a while there. So I think people are still getting used to things of consequence being built up on Collision. And this is one of the things of consequence that like there has been some story behind it. I feel like when you were talking earlier about MJF and Adam Page being kind of arch rivals, like I don't know if these two will ever be properly done with each other. But I've really enjoyed what we've gotten out of them so far. JPJ, anything that you want to add with specifically that rivalry or any other thoughts about this 8-man?
No, I agree with what both of you said about the 8-man. I thought it was a whole lot of fun. I'm glad Orange Cassidy's back. I mean, I've always been an Orange Cassidy kind of mark, and I think, having him back, he just adds something to the show just in general. And in this match, I thought Joe, you said everybody had great spots. They did. All 8 of these guys had specific spots in this match where they looked like they were the best guy in the match. And that's what you want from something like this. The whole meat section where they were doing the lariats with Brian Cage, Hobbs, and oh my God, what do you call it? Archer. With Archer, that was one of my favorite segments in the match. Yeah, I mean, I can watch big guys beating the crap out of each other all the time. So, I mean, if that's what you want to give me, I am going to be a very happy guy watching it. And with the Big Bill stuff, to me, that guy is over. I'm hoping I love Brian Keith too, but it feels like he's the guy that should come out of the Jericho stuff as like the star, like the next, kind of guy if they want to do it and do it properly. But yeah, if you're not going to do anything like super duper major with these guys, like put them in a feud like that where they can't. It reminds me of Braun Strowman and Roman way back in the day when they were kind of both middling in the higher mid card, but they were like, you know what? You are 2 big guys. We're just going to have you beat the crap out of each other every week all over the arenas, and it's just going to be chaos. And that was arguably the best stuff that either of those guys did for a long time. And I feel like the Hobbs Bill has like a small little tinge of that to it, and I'm enjoying it. So
you're not wrong. You're not wrong. That's a very apt comparison. As I'm going through my notes on this, I am realizing how much we didn't have like an overload of backstage stuff and how effective all of the backstage things that we did get was. So kind of nice to have a go home where so much of the focus was in ring. Like we don't always get that, but we also had like everything that was a mic spot was so meaningful. Like that contract signing, the MJF Adam Page stuff, and then the less consequential matches, you still had like this insane 8-man tag, right? So some good stuff there, but let's move along. Guys, please leave a thumbs up on this video. I appreciate you guys sticking with us. We had Ryan's birthday celebration. He didn't watch the episode, so JPJ coming in, hanging out with us. We appreciate him sticking around. So please leave a thumbs up here. Please subscribe to this channel. You have no idea how much that helps us as we continue to chat about wrestling every Wednesday that we can be here, quite frankly. So let's get into our world title picture segments for tonight. We talked about this already a little bit, realizing how much Ryan Guessing Wrestling has really escalated our review pacing here a little bit. But we talked about this, and it was a really, really good match between Cope and Wheeler. I'm so impressed by how much Cope gives at this stage in his career to guys like Wheeler, and how great those guys look, and how out of his wheelhouse working with a guy like Wheeler Yuta is, and how great the match was. He leaned into everything technical that Wheeler could do. Wheeler does all of these really great little things, like the leg whips, just have all this extra snap on them, and knowing what Adam Cope had been through with his leg injury, there were all these nuances. But Cope picks up the win to the surprise of nobody here. And we get the backstage stuff that we had referenced earlier here. We get a shoving match in the ring between Mox and Wheeler, with Mox being angry that Wheeler lost, of course. And we get a little bit of fire back from Wheeler Yuta. I loved Cope saying, "This is what respect feels like," when he shook his hand, because I think we all want Wheeler Yuta to remember that he's actually somebody's best friend, okay? Not a death rider. He does not ride for death. He wears fun clothes, and he hangs out with Chuck Taylor and Trent and Orange Cassidy. That's who that man is. But some really good stuff, and I actually really liked this from Mox, too, being like, "Congrats, Cope. You chipped away at everybody around me. Now you have me one-on-one, but you're going to pay for that now." It's so funny because the past couple weeks I've been like, the Death Riders aren't my favorite, but I like what they're doing with this more now. But this thing was just in the mud for so many months. I think everyone's still like, end it, make it be over. Which I do think is the right call. I don't think you can wait for Darby Allin. I don't think you should wait for Darby Allin. Not to be morbid, 40% of people that attempt to climb Mount Everest die. It's fucked up, but it's the truth of what this guy wants to do. And I don't think you can extend an angle in hopes that he's okay when he returns. I don't think you can assume that somebody who climbs Mount Everest is going to be in wrestling shape that when they return. And I also don't think you can expect everybody's going to give a shit about this angle when Darby Allin returns. Strap up Cope, have Christian cash in on him, turn that belt over onto the next immediately. I had been kind of rooting for let Claudio be the one to turn on Mox and take that title, because you could still end up with Darby as champ at the end of that, like a Claudio transitional reign. Sounds super fun to me. But I was really like, man, Tony and Mariah should be closing the show if Mox is going to retain. And now I'm like, I don't know if Mox is going to retain. I think they really might give it to Adam Copeland. So let's start with Joe on this. Joe, how did you feel about this match and segment? Kind of already talked about it, but what are you thinking as we head into this pay-per-view as well?
So I like the battle of four-letter words between Yuta and Cope.
Yeah.
So
good shit.
Yeah, what you mentioned about the match type and Copeland wrestling is such a technical match tonight with Yuta, which we've seen him do a lot of, hardcore, just brutal matches, but we don't see him do the technical stuff as much. So that was fun. I do, like you said, I like the fact that he's kind of having a parallel run to what Danielson did as far as being at the later stages of his career, not caring so much about winning the title, but more about elevating guys, putting younger talent over, not wanting to win the title unless he really has to win the title. I think that's been fun to watch. And I guess I think one note I had was when commentary mentioned how Yuta needed the Death Rider to help pull that aggressive side out of him, because it's not naturally who he is. And he really wasn't aggressive until at the end Moxley comes out and pulls it out of him. So it was a really interesting little add to the story, I guess, for the Death Riders. And maybe the Death Rider story feels like it's more focused now because it's coming to a close and we have a definitive ending, maybe. So maybe that's why it feels like we're more invested in it now than we were before.
Sure feels like we know what we're aiming at more. Yeah, I agree with that entirely. great point about commentary. I also loved Ian Riccaboni being like, maybe Cope is taking this match as a way to like dig into this technical side before he faces Moxley, who has been using this death jitsu submission style, and say like, if I am able to control my emotions, if I'm able to stay focused against Wheeler Yuta, that'll put me in a good place against Mox. And then I think Taz kind of combated that ideology, but like, I just loved the way that they were telling the story of this match so much and how it wove into the bigger picture. Like, no offense to Tony Schiavone, really nice to have Ian Riccaboni there instead of Tony Schiavone being like, what a moment! Like, I don't need to hear that anymore. So.
Yeah.
JPJ, any
Yes.
more thoughts on this? And how are you feeling about the world title picture going into Revolution? Do you think we're gonna revolve?
Yeah, I had been leaning that way for the last couple weeks, though. I've been leaning that way that I thought Christian was going to be the guy leaving Revolution as the champ. Whether obviously, I feel like that would make more sense if Copeland beats Mox first, and then he does it on Copeland. But either way, I had been leaning in Christian being the guy that leaves Revolution the champ, and it's what you said at the beginning of it, Kate, was. It feels like now, the last 3 weeks to a month, even though Copeland is really not the guy that I think I'm more excited for the match now than I was when we first found out that this was the direction they're going. And that's a good thing. But I do feel like the Death Riders is something I like. I'm caring about what we've seen the last few weeks more than I've cared about the last 2.5 months. So it's kind of like, it's like, yeah, I think it should end because we were all feeling that way for a reason. We all kind of, like you said, wanted to end because it was just, where are we going here? And now it feels like we have a direction where we're going. So it's like, oh, I kind of like this, but I also don't want to say that. And then we have 2 more months of it. And we're like, okay, what is happening here?
Mox just feels like so much more like himself to me. Do you feel that way?
Yes. I feel like the last basically since they started this with Cope, I feel like Moxley has gone up a level, like in the character of what this story, like, yeah, it just feels like he's so much more into it. And maybe that's because we're hearing from him a little bit more and like he's more intense when we're hearing, I don't know, but it does seem like he is oddly more invested in it as well, like as an on-screen character, even though he was he is the focal point of everything.
It sure feels like it has to do with like knowing what he's aiming at. Because I feel like John Moxley's normally so clear, so clear with that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. But yeah, I've been leaning that Christian was going to sneak in and steal it and I think that's probably the way to go. Especially when you got the Ricochet Swerve thing leading to the #1 contendership. You know, that's an easy way to get the belt on somebody else. It's Christian. You can build to the Swerve and Christian thing, which they have history, and then boom. Swerve can be your new champ, and then you can kind of layer in Ricochet, and then you got all these other guys that you can kind of, all right, where do we go? You know?
I agree. I feel like Swerve is like in case of he's your in case of an emergency break glass type of wrestler. Like he's that guy for that. Well, let's slide into our ladies segments of the evening. We did have a quick one with Mercedes Moné and Renee, who gets her selected catchphrase wrong in this, but very much looking forward to her match with Momo Watanabe. Certainly seems like we're headed towards Athena and her hopefully at All In, God willing, but love that they planted the seeds for that. But we get our tag match that is basically just set up to make Megan Bayne look like a star. The entrance with the shot of the pillars and the way it swung over to Megan Bayne's Titantron, I thought was like, artwork. But we get this tag match of her and Penelope Ford, who are such like an awkward duo, but they're so different in the ring that I think it's kind of a fun way to go about business. We had that weird segment a couple of weeks ago with Thunder Rosa running off with the chair, but we've emerged successfully out of that. I could watch Megan Bayne just heave people around the ring all day. I'm fine with that. But Joe, let's start with you. What did you think of this tag match? It was very short, but pretty good. And are you excited for Momo versus Mercedes as well?
Tag match was short, yes. And I thought it started off a little off to me initially with Penelope in there with Stat and Thunder, but it did pick up a lot. I love the timing of Statlander hitting the boot in the corner and then dodging Penelope's back handspring. I thought the timing of that was really perfect on that. And yeah, I'm interested to see how they build Bang up because we've seen them build up powerhouses in the women's division before with Jamie Hayter, with Statlander, Willow. So I'm interested to see what they do with Megan on this one. And I don't know how we didn't call the tag team of Thunder Rosa and Statlander Thunderstat.
Thunderstat.
So that is my one idea for their tag team. But the Mercedes match, looking forward to it. I almost forgot that we saw them at Capital Collision and how awesome the match was. And so to see them run it back again here at Revolution and having a bigger audience, we'll just
Yeah, I think that's going to be super, super fun. JPJ, because we don't always get to steal you, I feel like the women's talent rotation has picked up significantly over the course of the past maybe 4 to 6 weeks. I think that's been really encouraging. We're going to talk about Toni Storm and Mariah May, which will be the culmination of that at Revolution momentarily. I'm kind of in the camp. We talked about this I can't remember the last time I've been on the show. That's so sad. I think I filled in for like 3 straight weeks on Fightful, but I had said I think it would be cool if Megan Bayne was the one to beat Toni Storm. Like Toni Storm has this small reign for a little bit, and then Megan Bayne just why not? Just make her a star. Just do it. And she doesn't have to have a super long reign either. But how are you feeling about Megan Bayne here? I think her presentation's been fantastic. Are you in the same camp, or do you want to see someone else come for Toni Storm?
No, I would be all for that. I think they've made Megan Bayne look like a star in the short amount of time that we've seen her on the screen. And I think you can really cement her, obviously, as a star right away by having her do that. And if she hasn't been in a ton of matches, but she's been in almost a handful of them, and she's dominated the majority of them. And her presentation with the entrance and the headdress she wears and just everything she wears, she looks like, a Greek statue. Like she looks like that type of, goddess-like character. If you want to cement her as how you're portraying her running through the roster and getting a world title like that very quickly, that would do that. And it would, and like you said, she doesn't have to hold it long. She can hold it for, a little whatever, and then whatever happens. But I think that's a way to solidify her as a future star of this division for years and years to come. I think they're on their way of doing that anyway. I think they've treated her really well since she's been there. And I'm a big fan of Megan Bayne. I'm a big fan. I got to see her on GCW a lot. The second you see her, I was at the GCW show in Indy, and we were kind of hanging on the balcony, and there were a couple WWE female wrestlers that were up there watching the show. And when she came out, one of them tapped the other one on the shoulder and said, "Who is that?" And I saw her say, "Who is that?" And I feel like a lot of people have that reaction when they see Megan Bayne the first time.
Yeah, it's hard not to.
Exactly.
It's hard not to.
Yeah, and I feel like that's someone you want to get behind immediately, and I think that would be a great way to do it. I think that really would be a great way to do it.
I think maybe Toni to Megan Bayne to Mercedes. Mercedes drops her title to Athena at All In, and then maybe that's not Full Gear. What's Double or Nothing time? Maybe you have Mercedes beat Megan Bayne. That gives her a good 4 to 6 month reign or something like that. And I feel like Mercedes holding the world title also levels out the hierarchy, because sometimes it's felt for a long time that TBS title is higher than the women's world title, I think.
Yep.
Joe, how are you feeling about the women's title pictures? Are you kind of on that trajectory, or are you no, give it to Deanna, give it to Anna Jay, give it to Thunder? Where's your head at with that?
No, I don't mind listening to you kind of spell it out. I think that sounds pretty good, and I like the fact that we have these kind of good problems to hash out, where we're having that same conversation about the men's world title picture with Swerve, Heyman, Copeland, Christian. So I like the fact that no, we're having that talk on both sides now, where it used to be like the women's division had maybe 4 people who we thought were the main contenders for the title, and they kind of swapped it around. And now we have all these other, it's a deeper division. And they've, again, like we talked earlier in the show, they give some of the other wrestlers who aren't in the world title picture other meaningful things to do now, beyond, like, so Anna Jay can have a good storyline if she's not in the world title picture. Thunder Rosa can have a good storyline if she's not in the title picture, or go after a tag title or something if we ever had tag titles. But
That would be neat.
that would be nice, especially now how deep the roster is for the women's division.
Ones that floated across like there and ROH and New Japan Strong, I think is a fantastic way to go. I would prefer that. I would prefer that than just some gals kind of waiting around. But someone pointing out in the chat too that Delta uses the F5 but throws it the other way. I say that's because she's Australian. So like
it is 100%.
Gotta flip it around
100%.
the other way.
Yes.
We have the Glamour, Mariah May, and Queen Amanada. Is that right? Did I write my notes right?
No. She had a backstage with.
Yeah, it was
she
just
had a
the
backstage.
sit down with Tony Storm, right? That was
Very
it.
possible that those are my notes from a different week. When my internet was getting chewed up, I pulled them off of my my computer and switched to my phone, and it's a little screwed up. But we just had the sit down. I think that's the last thing that we have to talk about. And the sit down, if you said it was your favorite thing on the show, I would not blame you. This was fan-fucking-tastic. This is the go home segment that this story has deserved. This story has been pretty near perfect between these two, but it's Mariah and Renee and Tony in a sit down. And I like what you had mentioned earlier, JPJ, about like the backstage sets being different. Like this is just kind of a giant white room, and both of these ladies should be in a fucking asylum, so it's perfect. But as soon as she can say, you know, thank you for agreeing to no physicality, Mariah May slaps Renee, which is so fucked up. And such a fun little device that we got on this. And she's just so out of sorts, really, with all of this. But it's fantastic. And she's becoming as unhinged as Tony. And she basically blames Tony Storm that all of this is because of her. And Renee says it's the other way around, chickadee. Like, since you signed here, which is true, you've been obsessed with this woman. You were stalking her. You turned on her, right? And Mariah May says the women's title is nothing without her because they'll both go down together. That she's going to destroy Tony Storm, but that they could have a Hollywood ending, which I love in this. And Tony Storm says, you deserve a death sentence, but instead it's going to be a lifetime of mediocrity. She'll never be great, liked but never loved. And then people will forget about her, and one day they'll be asking, whatever happened to that Mariah May? And that she will pray for her. I love how now in control Tony Storm is, but how she's clearly fucking out of her mind still. But she knows who she is in her little world, which I think is a really, really nice touch with this. Mariah May being like, it could be us. We could have this classic Hollywood ending, and Tony Storm being like, you had your chance, darling. This was some really, really good stuff. I also liked the Queen of the Ring movie promo that we got that Tony Storm is in, that got alluded to earlier. But she says she's the star, but they cut her nudity scenes that were in it. Which is a damn shame. But
unfortunate.
JPJ, we'll throw to you for this. I thought this was brilliantly done all around.
It's tremendous. I think this should main event Revolution. And I don't think it will, but I think it should. The story's like overrated. They've been telling us for a year and a half, this story.
This is why I think that we might get a title change, because I think this would otherwise.
Yeah.
I think this could otherwise.
Yeah. I thought this was perfect. I thought, she spits in Tony's face. right at the beginning, and Tony doesn't. Someone said it in the chat. Doesn't even wipe it off. Just lets it just sit there. And I thought the last line that Tony says when she's going, like you said, one day they're going to ask whatever happened to Mariah May, and then the answer will be that she found out what happens when you try to kill God.
Such good stuff.
What a line. What a line that was. This story rules. This segment ruled. I think it should be the main event of Revolution. But Hangman and MJF is probably, if I had to rank them, my number one match for Revolution. But this is 1A. This is 1A. Sure. This whole storyline has been top of the top the whole time. It's been going on for however long it's been. This was incredible. And I loved Renee because, like, at that point where, like, Mariah's leaning in, but she's, like, leaning on Renee's legs as she's, like, leaning in. And Renee is, like, getting more uncomfortable by the millisecond. And she's just perfectly, like, Renee is so good not saying anything in all of these backstage segments. And I just thought this whole thing was perfect. Absolutely perfect.
Probably the greatest backstage presence of a more modern era, right? Yeah. Like, I think that's extremely fair to say, but this was like, this story is going to wrap at the pay-per-view, and I felt like, what a love letter of a segment to send it home on. I absolutely adored this. Mm-hmm. Joe, what did you think of this segment? And also, is your chin up? Why aren't your tits out? And will you be watching for the shoe come this weekend?
I'll be watching for the movie instead, because that's what she plugged.
That's fair. That's very fair. Very fair.
This is a go home, a way to go home that I liked a lot. Where sometimes tonight we got a lot of matches for go home angles, and sometimes I don't like it where there's that much physical interaction before they wrestle 3 days later. I want them to kind of save some of that for when they meet. So I like having such an emotional, tense promo battle with each other. I think the one thing I'm going to be sad about is just they play off each other so well throughout this whole story. Like, it's going to come to an end, and they'll go off and do their own separate things and do great things, but it will never. It just won't feel the same anymore. And I don't know. I think I'm gonna miss that the most. But I did like the fact that, like, Mariah really wants that Thelma and Louise ending of just holding hands and going off the edge together and just dying together. And
I love that there's like an open door to that of, like, is she being sincere or is she just trying to lull Toni Storm into a false sense of security? It's very Dottie Henson dropped the ball to me. Like, we may never know if she was being real about that or if she was just trying to make Toni Storm feel too comfortable.
We all know she dropped the ball.
She dropped the ball on purpose. Come on. Greatest baseball movie ever made. That's right. I said it. I said it.
Well, I'll tell you who didn't drop the ball, and that was JPJ filling in for us tonight. Thank you so much for joining us. We did already talk about our main event, so we're actually going to go ahead and get out of here. But before we do, if you're not familiar with JPJ, you should be, because he's one of the best. He's constantly filling in when Joe and I are on this platform. We'll let you plug your stuff and put over your other co-hosts, because other great people are involved in the work that you do.
Yes. So tomorrow, Thursday, is a big day for myself over on the Love Wrestling. I actually have 2 shows over there on Thursdays. Thursday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, me and Pluggo, my main squeeze Pluggo. We have Between Two Beards. It is the flagship over there at Love Wrestling. We're almost coming up on 200 episodes of that bad boy. We're a couple episodes away from episode 200. So, and then on Tuesdays and Thursday mornings with Drew Nicholas, also a swell individual. We do Firmly Love Wrestling. We talk WWE on Tuesdays. We talk AEW on Thursdays. So if you want to hear some more Dynamite and Revolution preview talk, tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. Eastern Time over on the Love Wrestling YouTube, me and Drew will be chopping it up there as well. And then you can find me at JPJ Loves Gaming on all social media platforms. I also have a Twitch where I horrifically play video games a lot. Just not good at them, but it's fun sometimes. So.
It's usually more fun when people are clumsy at it, but
that'd be me.
Chris Bueller just joining us now. Chris, you missed your moments. You missed your moment.
Yeah, I'm
Ryan.
sorry. He's gone already.
He is, yeah. He had a family stop by, so he missed most of Dynamite, so he bailed earlier. But if you want to say "fuck you, Frodo," like, feel free to.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, fuck Frodo and happy birthday, Ryan.
That's what else do we need? What else? Like, perfect. I can clip that.
I fell asleep in the middle of Dynamite and just woke up and was like, God damn it.
Wasn't that bad of an episode. I mean, come on.
No, I'm just sleep deprived.
I understand that. Well, sorry you joined us. We're wrapping up, but that's also a really great way to be like, let me just come on, plug my shit, and get out of here if you want to. We do have a pay-per-view coming up this weekend, but I can't even make the joke anymore, Doc.
I know.
It's so sad.
Yeah, well, if I ever get a job working for Prime, you can.
Yeah, sure. Triller Plus, whatever. Yeah. We'll tell everyone that the tech issues are.
I mean, if they ever move to Max, we're technically part of that company.
That is true. Thank you for reminding me. I will absolutely blame you at that time. But anything you want to plug while you're here? You're a friend of the show.
I mean, if you want to follow my work, it's all on Bleacher Report. I'm most active on social media on Blue Sky these days.
Hell yeah.
So that would be Doc Chris Mueller. And that's about it.
Yes, a friendlier environment over there on Blue Sky. But Joe, you having any cereals lately? What are you up to these days?
Funny you ask. I've been slacking on that, so I finally decided to have a bowl this evening. So I think this weekend I'll publish my review of this one.
Oh my gosh, the Friends cereal.
Friends? Did that say vanilla bean latte? What does that say? Vanilla bean latte.
Yeah.
My favorite part is they have a little game on the back with
that's cool.
With the couch. Sorry, can't
You have
see.
to pivot.
Yeah.
Wait, is that new, or did you buy an old box of cereal from the 90s?
No, I'm not a sicko.
I mean, there's people who do that.
No, it is new. So,
Oh, okay. I didn't know that there was a Friends cereal at all.
no.
That is
That's
what-
why I have a blog, Doc.
There we go.
There you go.
Vanilla bean latte.
Find the
Follow
blog.
Joe
Yes.
for his cereal reviews. They're
Yes.
fantastic. There's some really weird fucking cereals out there. I can tell you that much. But you can catch me on Fightful most days of the week. Behind the paywall on Fightful Select Mondays, and for pay-per-views like this weekend, as well as PLEs on the WWE side, Tuesday and Friday. It's so weird to say Tuesday and Friday and omit ROH because we gave up. But for NXT, Sour Graps, and your SmackDown review on the main channel, and then Wednesdays, whenever I can be here, not filling it on Fightful. I do try to come back around here, so you can catch me there at Miss Kate Fabe on social media. Happy birthday, Ryan. We love you so much. And in your honor, we are going to announce the way that we do our outro, which is to pull up the overlay and then to play the outro theme, which I can find no problem. I now understand why he has trouble doing this. Where is it? There it is.
This concludes the Mark Order podcast. We now return you to your regularly scheduled programming. Join the Mark Order.